Wise women built homes, but a foolish one tore it down with her hands. He who walks uprightly fears the Lord, but he who is devious in his ways will be dishonored. From the mouth of fools comes a staff of pride, but the lips of the wise preserve them. Where there are no oxen, the cribs are clean, but where there is much produce, the strength of an ox is apparent. A faithful witness does not lie, but an unjust witness kindles falsehoods. You may seek wisdom with evil men and will not find it, but perception is easily available among the clever. All things are against a foolish man, but wise lips are the weapons of perception. The wisdom of the smart will become familiar with their ways, but the folly of fools misleads. The homes of transgressors are subject to cleansing, but the homes of the just are acceptable. A man's heart is sensitive, his soul is grieved, and when he rejoices, he does not mingle with pride. The homes of the impious will be destroyed, but the tents of the upright will stand. There is a way that seems to be right among people, but its end reaches to the bottom of Hades. Grief mingles not with mirth, and joy in the end comes to sorrow. A bold-hearted person will be filled with his own ways, and a good man with his own thoughts. The innocent believes every word, but the smart comes to a change of mind. A wise man feared and turned away from evil, but the fool trusts in himself and associates with the lawless. A passionate person acts with thoughtlessness, but a sensible man endures many things. Fools will partake of evil, but the smart will lay hold of perception. The evil will fall down before the good, and the impious will serve at the gates of the just. Friends will hate poor friends, but the friends of the rich are many. He who dishonors the needy sins, but one who pities the poor is deemed most happy. They who go astray devise evil, but the good devise pity and truth. The planners of evil do not understand pity and loyalty, but acts of mercy and of loyalty are with planners of good. With everyone who is careful there is abundance, but the hedonist and indolent shall have want. A crown for the wise is a smart man, but the pastime of fools is evil. A faithful witness will rescue a soul from evil, but a deceitful person kindles falsehoods. In the fear of the Lord is hope in strength, and he leaves his children support. An ordinance of the Lord is a fountain of life, and it causes people to turn away from the snare of death. In a populous nation is a king's glory, but in the failing of people is the ruin of a ruler. A man slow to anger is abundant in prudence, but an impatient man is extremely foolish. A meek-spirited man is a healer of hearts, and a sensitive heart a moth in the bones. He who cheats the needy upsets his maker, but he who honors him pities the poor. The impious will be driven away by his evil, but he who is secure in his own piety is just. There is wisdom in the good heart of a man, but in the heart of fools it is not discerned. Justice lifts up a nation, but sins diminish tribes. A thoughtful subordinate is acceptable to a king, and by his own good behavior he removes disgrace. Anger destroys even the prudent, yet a submissive answer turns away wrath. But a harsh word stirs up anger. The tongue of the wise understands what is good, but the mouth of the foolish will proclaim evil. The eyes of the Lord are in every place, beholding both the evil and the good. A tongue's healing is a tree of life, and he who keeps it will be filled with spirit. A fool scorns his father's discipline, but he who keeps commandments is smarter. In abounding righteousness is great strength, but the impious will be removed root and branch from the earth. In the homes of the righteous there is much strength, but the fruits of the impious will perish. The lips of the wise are devoted to perception, but the hearts of fools are not steadfast. The sacrifices of the impious are an abomination to the Lord, but the prayers of the upright are acceptable to him. The ways of the impious are an abomination to the Lord, but he loves those who pursue righteousness. The discipline of the innocent is known by passers-by, but those who hate rebukes die disgracefully. Hades and destruction are manifest to the Lord. How much more also human hearts? An uninstructed person will not like those who rebuke him, and neither will he associate with the wise. When the heart rejoices, the countenance is cheered, but when it is in sorrow, the countenance is sad. An upright heart seeks perception, but the mouth of the uninstructed will know evil. The eyes of the wicked are continually expecting evil, but the good are always quiet. Better is a small portion with the fear of the Lord than great treasures without fear. Better is entertainment of vegetables with friendliness and kindness than a serving of calves with enmity. A passionate man stirs up fights, but he who is slow to anger appeases even an incipient one. A man slow to anger will extinguish disputes, but an impious person stirs them up exceedingly. The way of the idle are strewn with thorns, but those of the courageous are beaten. A wise son gladdens his father, but a foolish son scorns his mother. The paths of the foolish are void of sense, but the prudent man proceeds in a straight course. They who do not honor counsels delay deliberations, but counsel prevails in the hearts of those giving advice. The evil person will not heed it, neither will he say anything appropriate or good for the public. The thoughts of the intelligent person are ways of life, in order that one turn aside and escape from Hades. The Lord tears down the homes of the insolent, but he established the border of the widow. An unjust thought is an abomination to the Lord, but the sayings of the pure are solemn. A receiver of bribes destroys himself, but he who hates the receiving of bribes is saved. By acts of mercy and by faithfulness sins are purged, but by the fear of the Lord everyone turns away from evil. The hearts of the righteous ponder faithfulness, but the mouth of the impious answers evil things. The ways of righteous persons are acceptable to the Lord, and through them even enemies become friends. God is far from the impious, but he hears the prayers of the righteous. Better is a small intake with righteousness than abundant produce with injustice. Let the heart of a man think righteous things, that his steps may be directed by God. The eye that observes good things rejoices the heart, and good news refreshes the bones. He who rejects discipline hates himself, but he who heeds rebukes loves his soul. Fear of God is discipline and wisdom, and the beginning of glory will respond to it. All the works of the humble are manifest with God, but the impious shall perish in an evil day. Everyone who is arrogant is impure with God, and he who unjustly joins hands will not be deemed innocent. The beginning of a good way is to do righteous things, and they are more acceptable with God than to bring sacrifices. He who seeks the Lord will find knowledge with righteousness, and they who seek him rightly will find peace. All the works of the Lord are done with righteousness, but the impious is kept for an evil day. There is an oracular shrine upon the lips of a king, and his mouth will not err in judgment. The tipping of the scale is righteousness with the Lord, and his works are righteous measures. An evildoer is an abomination to a king, for the throne of government is established by righteousness. Righteous lips are acceptable to a king, and he loves right words. The anger of a king is a messenger of death, but a wise man will pacify him. The son of a king is in the light of life, and they that are acceptable to him are like a late cloud. The young of wisdom are more desirable than gold, and the young of prudence more desirable than silver. The paths of life turn away from evil, and the ways of righteousness are length of existence. He who receives discipline will prosper, and he who heeds rebukes will become wise. He who heeds his ways preserves his own soul, and he who loves his life will spare his mouth. Pride goes before ruin, and malice before a fall. Better is a person of gentle mind with humility than he who divides spoils with the proud. One who is capable in business is a discoverer of good things, but he who trusts in God is most fortunate. Some call the wise and intelligent worthless, but they who are pleasant in speech will be heard more. Insight is a fountain of life to its possessors, but the discipline of fools is evil. The heart of the wise will consider what comes from his own mouth, and on his lips he will bear prudence. Noble words are honeycombs, and its sweetness a healing for the soul. There are ways that seem to be right for a man, but their ends look toward Hades' depth. A man at labor labors for himself, and fences off his own destruction, but the crooked carries destruction in his own mouth. A foolish man digs up evil for himself, and treasures fire on his own lips. A crooked man spreads evil, and will kindle with evil a torch of deceit, and he separates friends. A man who transgresses makes trial of friends, and leads them in ways that are not good. He who fixes his eyes considers perverse things, and he marks out with his lips all evil. He is a furnace of evil. Old age is a crown of boasting. However, it is gained in the ways of righteousness. A man who is slow to anger is better than the mighty, and he who controls his temper better than the one who captures a city. All things come upon the unrighteous into their laps, but all righteous things come from the Lord. Better is a morsel with pleasure and peace, than a house full of many good things and unjust sacrifices with strife. An intelligent domestic will rule over foolish masters, and will divide portions among brothers. As silver and gold are tried in a furnace, so are choice hearts with the Lord. A bad person listens to the tongue of transgressors, but a righteous person does not give heed to false lips. He who laughs at the poor provokes his Maker, and he who rejoices at one being destroyed will not go unpunished. But he who has compassion will find mercy. Children's children are a crown for the aged, and their fathers are the boast of children. The faithful has the whole world full of money, but the faithless not even a farthing. Faithful lips will not suit a fool, nor false lips the righteous. Discipline is a gracious wage to them that use it, and wherever it turns it will prosper. He who conceals wrongdoing seeks friendship, but he who hates to conceal them separates friends and family. A threat shatters the heart of a prudent person, but a fool, though whipped, does not comprehend. Every bad person stirs up controversies, but the Lord will send out against him a cruel messenger. Care will befall a man of understanding, but fools will consider evil. He who requites evil for good, evil shall not be moved from his house. Righteous rule gives power to words, but sedition and strife precede want. He who judges the unjust just and the just unjust is unclean and abominable with God. Why should fools have money? For the heartless will not be able to buy wisdom. He who makes his own house high is looking for ruin, and the one who is too crooked to learn will fall into evil. You should have a friend for every season, but let brothers be supportive in distress, for on this account are they born. A foolish man applauds and rejoices over himself. As well he who pledges himself ought to answer for his own friend. A lover of sin rejoices in fights, but the hard-hearted does not meet up with good things. A man who is fickle of tongue will fall into evil, and the heart of a fool is grief to its possessor. A father does not rejoice over an uninstructed son, but a prudent son gladdens his mother. A cheerful heart promotes well-being, but the bones of a depressed man dry up. The ways of one who unjustly receives bribes in his pocket do not prosper, and the impious perverts the ways of righteousness. The face of a wise person is intelligent, but the eyes of the fool are on the ends of the earth. A foolish son is a cause of anger to his father, and a grief to her who bore him. It is not good to punish a righteous man, nor is it pious to plot against righteous rulers. He who is careful to utter a harsh word is discreet, and a patient man is sensible. Wisdom will be imputed to a silly person who asks after wisdom, but someone who keeps himself speechless will be deemed to be sensible.